Hi all, welcome to my channel, BK World TV. Today we will be continuing on the build the U.S.S. Enterprise D series from DeAgostini, Japan. This is for Pack 16, stages 59 through 62. So we will be continuing on the build the U.S.S. Enterprise D series for Pack 16, stages 59 through 62, as you can see here from DeAgostini, Japan. So as you can see, we got the magazine for Pack 16, as well as all the parts for this pack. So anyways, as always, we'll go ahead and take a quick look at the contents of the magazine first, and then get started on the build. So let's go ahead and take a quick look at the contents of the magazine here. So we'll go ahead and skip over the build steps. So here we have the magazine. So let's go ahead and take a quick look at the contents in the back. So we'll go ahead and flip over to the back here. So the first episode they talk about is season 3, episode 24, Menage a Troy. So as you can see, you have some little concept design of the costume Roxana Troy wears, as well as Ethan Phillips makes his first debut in this episode as the Ferengi Ferric. Ethan Phillips also plays Neelix on Star Trek Voyager as well, but I guess this was his debut episode here. Then the next episode is episode 25, Transfigurations. You can see the medical tricorder there and the concept for some of the medical devices that they use in the episode here. And then episode 26, which is the best of both worlds. I think this will be the two-part episode for the Borg. And then you can see Commander Shelby there as well as Admiral Hansen. And then they talk about more of the Borg, the costume for it, as well as filming of it, as well as Locutus of Borg's Locutus costume as well there. And then last part, just talking about the family portrait for the upcoming season 4. And then they talk about Miles O'Brien right here, a little snippet right there, and then how he also played in Deep Space Nine, as we all know. So you can, if you're subscribed to this build series, you can read through all the details yourself. It's just a quick overview of the content. So now let's go ahead and get started on the build for Pack 16. So in stage 59, as you can see here, we'll be assembling the first ventral saucer panel for the saucer section, as you can see here. And then also starting to assemble together the port side warp nacelle, some of the pieces for that. So let's go ahead and get started. So first off, as you can see, we got our ventral saucer panel here. So we'll be installing these 4 windows here. So basically we'll go ahead and cut these little window pieces out. Then next we will be installing the windows. Now for these windows, you can see there's one side that is kind of angled, so the angled side is going to be facing down onto the panel there. So we'll go ahead and get this installed, and then we'll be right back. Okay, so now we'll be installing the reflector. So there's a little notch on the reflector portion there at the top. That'll be facing the larger side of the panel on top. So it'll be sitting just like that, and then we'll be securing that into place with 2 AM screws. So let's go ahead and get that screwed in, and just like that we have our windows all installed. So next we will go ahead and flip this deck panel over, and then we'll be installing the phaser array alongside the bottom here. So it'll be sitting in just like that. and then we'll flip this over and then secure the phaser array to the panel with 2 CP screws. So let's screw that in. So as you can see, we now have the phaser array installed. So next we will be installing the transporter emitter pads, which is these little so as you can see, we now have the transporter emitter pads also installed. So next we'll be bringing setting this piece aside and then bringing over the saucer section so we can get the get them all installed. So next we'll be taking this red and blue lighting cable that was not used, or at least one of it that wasn't used during the in stage 1. So the wire is labeled 01U, and then we'll be feeding that in through up into this little rectangular area here. So let's go ahead and get this wire fed through inside, just like that. And then next what we're gonna do is we're gonna separate the wire here and bend them so it'll be 90 degrees from the bulb. Then basically we're gonna seat that right onto that little slot there that's on the skull frame, just like that. As you can see, if we zoom in, this is the bulb right there. And then we're gonna secure that bulb into place with this little light bracket right here, and then we're gonna use 1 AM screw to get the bracket secured in. So let's go ahead and do that. So just like that, we have the light now secured into place. And then next what we're gonna do is we're gonna move on to the warp nacelle. So let's go ahead and put the saucer section aside for now. So as you can see, we have our little warp nacelle there. So we'll be placing this formation light that came in this stage onto this little slot there. Now the formation light, one side is flat, so basically it'll only fit in one direction. We'll just set that down just like that. And then next we're gonna get the rest of the warp nacelle here, and then we're gonna connect the lighting strip wire with the battery pack wire here. So let's go ahead and get this connected. So next what we're gonna do is we are going to get the battery pack cable on for one side of the nacelle and connect it with the lighting cable that's on the other side. But in order to do that, we have to feed this battery pack cable through here. So it'll be fed in just like that. And then we are going to connect that with the lighting cable. And it's going to be connected right here in this section right there. So now that the wiring are connected, we will go ahead and now attach both pieces of the nacelle together, connected just like that. And then we'll be securing both sides together with 3 CP screws. So let's go ahead and get that screwed in. And then next we will assign the screw cover piece here. It's gonna line up with these 6 tiny little holes that's on the bottom there. Let's go ahead and get that secured into place, just like that. So as you can see, we now have the port side nacelle all finished. And then that is it for stage 59. In stage 60, we will be working on another deck section of the underside of the saucer section, and then putting those two together. and then also finishing up the port side warp engine nacelle. So let's get started. So as you can see here, we have one of the deck panels that will go on the underside of the saucer section. So we'll be installing these longer vertical windows here. So we'll get the windows installed, which will be basically these pieces here. They're longer than the most of the windows that we've been using on the top side of the saucer section. But anyways, we'll get the windows installed and then be right back. Okay, so now that we got all the windows installed, next we'll be installing the reflector panel here for this deck panel. So basically, on the reflector panel, the two little notches will go towards the top, so the narrow portion of the deck panel there. So it's gonna sit just like that. And then we will be securing that into place with 2 BP screws for now. So we'll be placing the BP screws onto the top 2 holes. And just like that. So we flip it over. That's how the deck panel will look like with the longer windows. But we'll be setting that aside for now. And then next we'll be bringing over the saucer section to install the wirings for the lighting of this deck panel. So let's get the saucer section here. So we'll be getting our lighting cable, the one that has 2 lights, which is the red and blue one, and then the black and yellow. Then we'll go ahead and separate that a little bit, and then we will be connecting this onto the second slot from the right on the board there. So let's go ahead and get that connected first. So now that we got the lighting connected to the board, I'll be feeding this through right into this section right there. So now that the wiring is connected to the PCB board, we'll be feeding this cable all the way into this section right here. That's where the panel will be installed. So go ahead and get that lighting cable through. And the yellow and black cable will be going on this side, and then the red and blue wire will be fed through here onto the other side of the opening, and then basically we'll be going in like that from either side. So next we'll be bringing over the deck panel that we just previously set up in the stage. And then we will be connecting the yellow and black wiring onto the right side right there. It's going to slide right in. And then we will connect the red and blue wiring and lighting onto the other side. So it'll be connected just like that. And then we'll be using 2 more BP screws to secure the other half of the reflector panel onto the deck panel. So let's get that screwed in. So just like that, we have the wiring attached to the deck panel. The next we'll be bringing over the single lighting cable here. Then we will be connecting that onto the last opening on the PC board that's on the very lower right. Let's go ahead and get that connected. And then we will be feeding the wiring through until this opening there. Let's go ahead and just get that cable right through, just like that. So as you can see, we got the lighting cable there, and then we'll be attaching the lighting onto the top side of that deck panel there. So it's gonna attach just like that. Then we need to bend the cable a little bit to go on the other side, basically like that. And then next we'll be bringing over the deck panel that we created in stage 59. I don't think I mentioned earlier in the video, but in the previous stage, but this part of the deck panel is metal, and then the window one with all the windows we installed for the deck panel in this stage is plastic, just to let you know. But anyways, we'll be installing this deck panel onto the top. It'll be sitting right there, and then this deck panel will then come underneath. So this deck panel will come underneath, but the previous deck panel will be sitting on top of it. So it'll be sitting just like that. Then we will place all of that onto the saucer section right there. Just need to make sure that the wiring for the lights on this deck panel goes inside the skeletal frame. And then we will be securing the both deck panels with 6 FM screw stole on 3 on each side. So let's go ahead and get that all screwed in. So as you can see, we now have the deck panel installed. So next we'll be testing the lighting. So if you already have the battery pack connected, as you can see, some of the windows are lit up. It's a little bit hard to see, but the lighting's working, like that one there. So that's a good sign. So I'll turn our and then now that the saucer section is done, at least for this stage, we'll move on to the warp nacelle. So let's bring over our warp nacelle here. So here we have our warp nacelle. So if we zoom in just a little bit, we'll be installing the CR2032 battery here. So let's go ahead and get that battery inserted. So as you can see, it is lit up. And then we'll be installing the battery cover here, just like that. And then we will be using this battery cover screw to secure the cover into place. So if you turn off your studio lights, as you can see, all the lights are working, including the formation light at the end. So that is it for stage 60. In stage 61, we will be attaching another deck panel with some escape pods, and then adding that to the saucer section. And I believe that's this section here, actually. From the side, there's a side piece here as well, and that actually is part of the 10 forward section of the Enterprise C. But anyways, let's go ahead and get started. So as you can see, we'll be installing some escape pod hatches onto this metal piece of the deck panel here. So let's go ahead and get the escape pod hatches installed, and then be right back. Okay, so now that we got our escape pod covers hatches or covers installed, next we'll be installing these brackets. So these two brackets are labeled left and right. So the left one will just sit on top right there, and the right one goes on the right side, just like that. And then we'll be securing them into place with 2 DM screws each. So let's go ahead and get that screwed in. So just like that, we now got our escape pod hatches or covers secured with the bracket. So next, what we'll be doing is we will be attaching the outer frame. This will be the outside edge of the saucer section with all the windows. Now to install this piece, the side with the numbering on it, as well as the little indent parts of the holes surrounding it are sticking out, will actually be facing onto the panel. So the smooth side here of this piece will be pointing on top, just like that, and it'll click into place. Then we will be securing that with 3 DM screws. So let's go ahead and screw it in. So as you can see, now I have the edge installed. So next we'll be bringing over the saucer section and then getting this panel installed. So let's bring the saucer section over. So as you can see here, we have the saucer section. And then first off, we will be adding the front formation light piece here, which is this tiny little clear plastic piece. And then basically we will be fitting this light bulb here onto that piece there, just like that. And then what we're gonna do is the formation lights will then, that piece, clear plastic piece, will fit right into this indentation here on the top side, as well as the little indentation hole that's in the center there on this deck piece for the underside. So let's go ahead and get that all installed. So as you can see, we have this piece of the deck panel installed. Now the outer frame needs to clip on the top side of the on the other flip side of the saucer section here. So it will look just like this here, right here. It might be a little bit tricky. You might need to push the other side of the deck panels in order to get it clipped underneath. But once you get that installed, we will be securing that deck panel into place with 2 FM screws. So let's go ahead and get that screwed in. So as you can see, we now have our deck panel installed. So next we'll be testing the lighting. So let's quickly turn off our studio lights here and then get the lighting tested. So as you can see, we got the formation light there installed and working, as well as some of the lighting for the windows, as you can see there. So we get our lights back on, and then that is it for stage 61. In stage 62, we will be installing some lighting cables for the saucer section, and then also starting on the skeleton frame for the bottom portion of the drive section as well. So let's get started. So first off, we will be installing some of the lighting cables as well. So first we'll be getting this extension cable, or they call it the power connector cable. And then we'll be connecting that one onto the PCB board right here. It will be the top rightmost connector on the lower PCB board right there. So let's go ahead and get that connected. Feeding it through right through there, just like that, and then we'll feed it through in between the 2 PCB boards down the center there, just like that. Then next, what we will be doing is we will be opening up the sliding cable here, and then basically flattening the wires. It's almost 90 degrees to the bulb, without breaking it. Let's go ahead and get that done. So basically it'll look spread out just like this if we zoom in. So go ahead and do that for the other 3 of the lighting cables, and then be right back. Then next, what we'll be doing once we have bended these cables is to bring back the saucer section so we can get them installed. So as you can see here, we have the saucer section. And then first off, we'll be taking one of the lighting cables here and then connecting that onto the 3rd bottom row of this PCB board right there. Let's go ahead and get that connected. And then the lighting will just sit right there onto this little bracket there on this corner right here. And then we will be getting the bracket for it, and then securing the lighting into place with 1 AM screw. So this is the small plastic bracket that's going to sit right on top. Then we're gonna get that secured with one AM screw. So let's get that all screwed in, just like that. So now we got this light bulb in. Next we'll be doing the next one onto this part. So we'll go ahead and do that and then be right back. So as you can see, we have 2 LED lights installed there. So if we zoom in, we have these 2 LED lights installed there. So next, what we're gonna do is we're gonna do the same thing, but onto the this side here, which is technically the right side. If we have the subsection in the correct orientation, so we'll be doing the same thing, but using the brackets labeled R. I didn't mention it earlier, but the left side have the brackets labeled L for left. So we'll be using the right brackets and then getting it installed on the right side here. If you're facing the subsection from the top, right now we're looking at the bottom side of the subsection. So we'll get the 2 lightings installed and then be right back. So as you can see, we have the lighting for the right side installed as well. So let's go ahead and test the lighting for it. So as you can see, the lighting, all 4 of the lights here are working. So next we will move on to the skeletal frame for the drive section. So let's go ahead and get started on that. So as you can see here, we have the skeletal frame for the drive section here. So next we'll be getting these bracket support rods and then installing them into the front portion right here. And then we'll be securing that from the other side with one BM screw. So let's go ahead and do that. So next we'll be installing another support rod there and then securing that into place also with another BM screw. So let's go ahead and get that one screwed in as well. So just like that. And then next we will be getting the PCB board right here that was included in the previous stage. So let's go ahead and get that one out. Then we will be installing the PCB board right here, just like that. Just make note that the PCB board, one with the little connector that's on the corner there, it's going to be pointing in that direction towards the end here. So, and then we'll be securing that into place with 4 FM screws. So let's go ahead and screw them in. So now that we got the PCB board installed onto the lower part of the skeletal frame for the drive section there, that is it for stage 62 and for pack 16. So in pack 16, we finished the port side of the warp nacelle here, and then it basically put in the battery so it lights up, as you can see. And then also started on the deck panels for the underside of the saucer section. So we got this part here finished. I think this part here is part of 10 forward, somewhere here. But anyways, and then we also started on the skeletal frame for the bottom of the drive section there as well. So so far everything is looking nice. Can't wait to start seeing more of the finished product one pack at a time. But yeah, anyways, hope you are enjoying the series here on Build the U.S.S. Enterprise D. Look forward to more videos in the coming months as we get the build slowly completed. But anyways, I hope you're enjoying this video. If you are, please don't forget to like and subscribe. As always, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.